All right, we're going to begin our regular meeting of Commissioners Court, our 6 p.m. second meeting of the month. So if you would, stand with me. We're going to open with a prayer, and we'll have another pledge of allegiance for those of you that weren't with us earlier. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for the crowd that's gathered here, for the opinions that are expressed, for the employees that make up this fine county workforce, for the taxpayers that support us. We just ask your blessings upon all, and we continue to encourage open opinions and the ability to express those opinions without fear. We just ask now for your guidance over this meeting. Bless the homecoming parade that will begin here shortly, and just thank you again for this budget process. We pray for your continued wisdom. In Christ's name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I did not have any requests to speak for item number 1, but just to be sure, public comments and or requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with section 551.042. We'll start off the meeting with that. Are there any requests to speak? Yeah, I think I'll wait till closing comments on that. If you No, I'll go ahead and open that can. I might as well, because I might forget it, and you might too. Chief McRae did come to visit me first thing this morning, and despite the conversation we had about a week ago, he was not anticipating getting the rainfall that we got, and he was pleasantly surprised that we did exceed his expectations. He was not expecting to change his attitude on this, but he said, I am coming to you with the recommendation that we lift the burn ban. Now, that action cannot be taken tonight because we don't have it on the agenda. We couldn't get it on the agenda quick enough to meet the 72-hour rule. It is on the meeting for this Friday. We have a special meeting this Friday at 9 a.m. That issue will be on the agenda at that time. I have not spoken with the commissioners. I don't know what their opinions will be, but now they know as much as I know. That has been the that has been the chief's recommendation. We'll make that formal announcement at that time. So technically speaking, no, the burn ban has not been lifted, but in your and my conversation, we have decided that we're going to back off a bit on the enforcement issues and not be quite as sticky as we have been while we were under a formal, well-deserved burn ban. Okay? Is that being ambiguous enough? Okay.
Judge, before you go to anything else, I do want to clarify one thing from the last.
Okay, if you, and I'll add to that a little bit too. I was going to save it for closing comments, but Carl would like to speak, and if you'll pull that mic a little bit closer towards you, what he wants to address has to do with, whether or not we're actually raising taxes.
Right. Under the proposed budget that we have, we are actually reducing taxes by $460,000. That's how much the valuations went down more than the small amount we had to increase the interest and sinking fund to pay the bond payments.
Which was a scheduled increase, as I recall, based upon the life of those bonds?
Well, it was the same amount. Our part to participate in is $3.1 million. That's the same amount that we participated in the year before, but the valuation is being reduced.
Yeah, there's not an option. We have to pay that obligation, which is a fixed amount, and we raise the tax in order to be able to do that.
We did reduce the overall property tax by $460,000 in the budget. Now, as part of that, I offset some of that. The Sheriff's Department took some cuts that have been mentioned before, but each one of the precincts in the budget, I reduced the expenditures in each precinct by $25,000. So each precinct also reduced their budget by $25,000 as part of trying to compensate for those reduced. So there have been some other reductions made. It's a little harder to reduce 5% in some of the other elected officials' offices, like the tax assessor's rate. If you're not going to reduce their payroll, there's not a lot of areas for them to do any reducing. They have postage, they have office supplies, and that's about it. And they run those offices pretty lean in every elected official's case, so there's not a lot of room in those departments to make a lot of cuts. But the 4 precincts did agree to reduce their budgets by $25,000 each, which helped us keep the deficit that we're going to run in the budget down to about $360. But we did reduce. We're not going to collect. We're going to collect $460,000 less property taxes this year than we collected last year per the budget.
Limit last year was $580,000 million value.
Right.
They went to $460 this year.
Right.
And at $39.99, 40 cents is what our present tax rate is. And based on that, that's a decrease of $480,000 there, right there.
Right.
In property value. Other property went down also, so there's another decrease that we lost on the ag exemption. Should, I think, about $30,000 on the Pilgrims got 80. So we're talking about $500-something on just on our $39.9.
Well, using the numbers that she gave me, and my, the numbers, they always change because she gives us a valuation on July 31st, and those valuations can continue to change. There are people that file protests that may not be settled till October, November, and different things like that. But based on the numbers they gave me, the valuations for last year were $2,375,319,413. The valuation for this year was $2,201,142,015. So that's the number she gave me to work from. And using those numbers and using the tax rates, we will collect $8,848,500 in property taxes this year. That's what I used in the budget. And last year, we would have collected $9,308,900. So those are the differences in the numbers that we budgeted. They may change a little bit because ongoing assessment, arguments that haven't been settled yet. But for the most part, they don't change a whole lot from that. But that is the number. So we actually are collecting less money, and it's reflected in the budget, collecting less money. We're expecting our sales tax revenue to be up, and that's covering part of that difference. But each one of y'all agreed to cut your expenses by $25,000, and that is also reflected in the budget. I just wanted to clarify that.
And therefore, in all likelihood, we'll be using some of our fund balance in order to meet this year's obligations, rather than raising it all in taxes.
$360,000. Now, hopefully, we won't use that. Hopefully,
We've identified some areas where we think we can beat that, but it's a pretty lean budget.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Let me make sure I understood you. The interest don't change. I'm looking at the finance for 2012. We got an interest sheet here, page 36, and it shows what our interest is going to be to 2036 on the bonds. It's all the way down.
It should go down all the time. I haven't looked at that. But
Yeah, it does. It does go down slightly, about 100,000 this year.
The total amount that we have to contribute to help with the deal is the same amount as $3.1 million, and that's also using about $4 million of the bond proceeds for interest that was budgeted to be used. Yeah, I'm sure that's right. I don't have my numbers broke down here, but that's probably right. 8.871 million and 8.876 million is the total requirements. So for the year coming up, it's actually $5,000 more than it was last year. On the interest? Well, the
total principal and interest.
Yeah.
Oh, the principal and interest, right.
Yes, it's up $5,000. And there's about $4 million, I think, roughly. I don't have that figure in front of me. There was about $13 million in the bond proceeds that they knew we would need to use to help make these interest payments. for the first 3 or 4 years until the project was finished. And at that point, the state would start kicking in their $8 million a year to have to make payments. So that interest is figured in there. And that, along with our $3.1 million, is what it takes to make the payments, which if this says it's 8.876, I'm sure that's what my numbers show.
So we can reduce it by that much when we start getting that. Or some, will it still be the same? What will we do with the $8 million?
Well, we'll start making a little bit more principal payments. Because right now, we're not paying any principal on the big bonds. We're just paying interest.
Thank you.
Item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from the September 6th, 2013 regular meeting of Commissioners Court.
Judge, I took a look at those, and I make a motion we approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to accept those minutes, and a second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of the approval of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. Item 3, status report on Titus County pass-through projects. There may be some extra copies if anybody over there would like to see this in print. Does the parade start at 7:30? Do you happen to know, Lou? Okay. Judy, what did you hear, 7 o'clock?
7:30.
Started at 7:30? Okay. Or do you think they'll be through? Where does it start from, the Civic Center? Okay. I'm just going to try to get you out of here where you don't run into getting blocked in here due to the parade. This is our typical monthly update from Pate Transportation. Let me discuss this in phases. Contract administration related to US 271, the major part of our project. We've got Highway Pavement Specialties, Indus Construction, Southwest Environmental, Interstate Barricades, Lone Star Barrier, RK Hall, Mica Corp., TJ Lambrick, Texas Traffic Control Systems, Trevway, and of course Williams Brothers on the job. All the certified payrolls have been received through August. Moving on to 2348. Well, let me say that 91% is where we stand on the DBE reports. The pay estimate for Williams Brothers has been processed through August the 25th. FM 2348 out here on the east side of town, we've got these contractors on the job: Southwest Environmental, Striping Technologies, and H.H. Howard. This one's winding down. All certified payrolls have been received through the end of August. Let's see, we had a EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Compliance Review was conducted on that particular project over the last couple of months, and a follow-up field visit was conducted by the compliance officer on September 17th. A debrief with that officer confirmed that no deficiencies were noted. On our FM 4000 project, the leg that goes between Tractor Supply out to Chapel Hill School, we have the following on the job: James Construction, Southwest Environmental, Jacob Construction, and FBL and Associates. All certified payrolls are up to date through the end of August. Engineering is the next topic. On Highway 271, the engineering staff's been working on getting right-of-way monuments in place for the project, as well as finalizing change order number 10, which we will see at our next meeting. Change order number 10 will include costs for additional asphalt transitions on existing 271 and some credits for using uncoated rebar versus epoxy-coated rebar on the bridge railing. Revisions to the project signage throughout the entire project, and exchanging temporary grass that will no longer be used for the addition of seed to be used with another item to provide cool and warm seed as on application. After all this is tabulated, there will be a zero cost related to this change order. On 2348 at this time, right-of-way monuments are being placed by K.L. Kilgore for final acceptance from TxDOT. The staff is currently working with engineers to have the right-of-way map updated based on TxDOT's final acceptance criteria. FM 4000, the right-of-way monuments are scheduled to be placed after the FM 2348 job is completed, assuming that they'll be out of the way of construction. County Road 4710 will be closed soon with a very short detour to access FM 1735 to allow for subgrade and base operations to proceed. Environmental related. On US 271, Mr. Plucker, our Pate Environmental Affairs Associate, says that the monitoring wells have been pulled from the former Cameron Auto Salvage site. Final paperwork for this closure will be filled this week. On 2348, Mr. Plucker is on site there today performing an evaluation on the project for termination of the stormwater and the U.S. ACE permit, which is a requirement under the pass-through program. Construction related. Highway 271, Williams Brothers continues working all aspects of the project. Here's a brief description of the work done over the next couple of weeks. On the north end of the project, Williams Brothers has started placing reinforced concrete pavement on the northbound frontage road and the US 67. Both the slip form crew and the hand crew are in the area working. Once the concrete is placed, both crews will resume onto the main lanes, filling in the gaps from FM 1000 moving north. At this time, Williams Brothers is setting concrete panels on spans number 1 and 2 at County Road 2040. Williams Brothers is currently setting concrete girders for the bridge over the Blackland Railroad on US 271. Williams Brothers has completed the concrete paving at FM 899 and is working to have this road open by next week. That'll be good news. FM 2348, Howard and Sons, continues to make great progress on this project along with their subs. Over the next couple of weeks, the project is very close to completion. Currently, Howard is working on the punch list and is scheduled to be completed by the end of the week. The signal at FM 2348 and Highway 49 is now in full operation and is no longer just flashing. FM 4000, James Construction continues to make progress with their subs. Here are a few bullet points. At this time, most of the dirt work east of Hart Creek is complete, and at this time, they're balancing areas for the subgrade. They're also busy removing existing slabs and roadways on the west end of the project to prepare for the earthwork. Tennyson Road is now completely closed to all through traffic, completely closed, and we are enforcing that. Utility related is the last item on FM 4000. At this time, the utility department's wrapping up the last couple of utilities to get them relocated and out of the way. AT&T has 3 conflicts in question. They're scheduled to have finished by the end of the month. Also, the city has a few conflicts that they've been working on relocating, and they believe they can have this done by October 1 as well. The last conflict that Pate is working on is the lowering of the water, gas, and cable on parcel 9, the Willman property, and we'll have a contract scheduled to lower the lines at the ditch area, thus removing any conflict by this week. Commissioners, you have anything to add to that report?
I had someone ask me, Judge, about the lights on Highway 67. Are they going to be signal lights? Or are they just going to be the caution lights flashing?
I think those are just, unless something's changed, just flashing
It's
lights.
just flashing lights, to my knowledge, unless they change it sometime, but that's what it's going to be.
There's been a couple of comments about the speed limit signs on 2348. And I understand they've been set at 60.
Yes. TxDOT did that.
Faster than I expected.
Yeah. Well, TxDOT did that 2 weeks ago. They came and drove it and make that, and then that's what their recommendation was, to be 60.
Is that a final decision, or is that still to be determined?
That, to my knowledge, is a final decision. Now, I've already had some complaints about it, but, and I meet with them Wednesday morning, so that is one of the things that I will bring up.
Particularly that junction of East First and 2348.
Yeah, that's kind of a hazardous deal. The way First Street joins 2348 is a,
terrible. It's a horrible blind spot. They're going so fast coming up over that hill, you don't see them till you're already out in front of them, and the other way the same one.
Well, we will bring this up in the
that
meeting.
has already been brought up. We have discussed it, and I thought that they were going to make some changes, but they have not yet. So that will be, I'll bring that up again Wednesday morning.
It's horrible.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. I like to pull it out myself in front of someone.
Item number 4, consider and possibly approve the partial closure of County Road 3925. I'll let Commissioner Hinton explain that one.
Yes, Judge, Mr. Estrella, he owns property there on both sides of the road there. But what it is where there's 4.5 miles from County Road 3935 going all the way to 0.6 of a mile of Highway 71. He owns that, and he asked me if we could close that, him take it over, and he could maintain the road and just kind of keep traffic off his place.
So that takes how many miles off of your,
4.5 miles.
okay, it's a nice reduction in your load.
Where does the road dead end to his property, or where does it do?
No, it goes through his property. He owns both sides of the road.
But the road goes to somewhere else?
It goes all the way out to Highway 71
It starts at Highway 71 and goes back to Highway?
in a roundabout way, yeah.
I wouldn't vote for that.
Who will this impact?
Him?
Literally, no one else uses that as a throughway?
Well, I haven't seen nobody that has used it. They've all been coming in the other way. So he just asked if we could close it.
I don't think we ever close through roads, but that would be mine. I wouldn't be in favor of doing that, even if he's the only one that drives on it. It starts on the highway and ends on the highway. I wouldn't be in favor of doing that.
Even if we got some additional information that seemed to prove that there wasn't anyone else using that? And I don't know if that's the case or not, but...
Well, I had talked to Architects County Council of Governments, and they asked me if there was a bus route. I said no, it was not a bus route. And then they asked if the first responders would be able to use the road. I said yes, they would. I mean, he's not going to keep it closed per se, but at night he's going to close the road, close the gates on his place. The other end, which is comes out to Highway 71, 0.6 of a mile, comes to property owned by someone else, and it will be open from that point out to Highway 71. Just apart from where his property lines go.
Well, what are the potential negatives of closing that 4 miles of road, in your opinion? And if there's none, say none, but if there is anything we should consider.
I don't know of any negatives.
You close it, you're gonna find out how many negatives there
Philip, if you check with all the landowners on, I think I know where the road at, all the people that live on that end is close to 71.
From 39, 35 out to, and actually this doesn't come all the way to 71. From 39, 35 going west on 39, 25, it comes out to the community center there at Sugar Hill. And everyone lives from that point back west. The landowner, Mr. Estrella, lives or has property from that point going east to within 0.6 of a mile of Highway 71. So the Evergreen Cemetery is on the end down there, and that will be accessible to the public.
Could we approve maybe a 3-month, 6-month closure and see if you get any backlash before this is finalized? I mean, I have no experience in doing this, and it isn't going to make a bit of difference to me, and I feel like you've got a good feel for this, but like Commissioner Hockaday says, if somebody may pop up that you didn't anticipate.
And I know what he's talking about. I mean, that's anybody going out drinking, road hunting, stuff like that, so, but, and
Well, I'll support you, whatever you tell me you think is right.
I'd like to make a motion, we close the 4.5 miles.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner Hinton to close this 4+ mile segment of 3925. I'll make a second on that. All those in favor of this closure say aye. Aye. Opposed? And we have one opposition, Commissioner Hockaday. All right, thank you very much. So along that same discussion, item number 5, consider and possibly approve renaming 0.6 of a mile at the end of 3925. And the proposal is to rename it to 3950, which I guess is a brand-new name and number.
It'd be a new number on that 0.6 of a mile.
Okay, and that's the last tail end of that 3925.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to do that.
And you've renamed it a different name because now you got 2 different segments of road. Okay. Any questions about that? All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Hinton. I'll second it. All those in favor of renaming 0.6 of a mile at the end of 3925 to a new County Road 3950, say aye. 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 Opposed? And there are none. Item number 6, consider and possibly approve accepting a donation from Tim Gentry of surplus concrete waste. And Commissioner Hinton, I believe that's your item as well.
Yes, sir. I had Mr. Gentry come to me, or sent word to me that he had some concrete waste, and he wanted to donate it to the county for use at culverts and washes. And I told him I talked to John Mark, and he said to go ahead and put it on the agenda to do that. So I placed it on the agenda. I'd like to make a motion that we do that.
Isn't there any limit as to how much he can bring, and where does he bring it?
It's just a pile of it. It's probably would be 2 of our truckloads full, and that's it.
Okay. Is he bringing it to us, or he just saying it's there for you to use when you want to use it?
It's on his property. It's right there behind his shop there.
Okay.
And we'd have to pick it up and take it where we need it.
All right. Would you like to make that motion?
I'd like to make that a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to accept this concrete waste. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. Item number 7, consider and possibly approve waiving the entry fee to the Monticello County Park during the 5th annual Titus County Twin Lakes Jam Fest, October 11th through 18th. I know that's your pet project, so you tell us about that.
Okay, Judge, this is the 5th year that we've done this. It's really worked out well. We're getting more and more people there every year. You like good picking and singing, that's the place to go. They set up about 3 camps, and the bigger they get, they'll set up more camps, but you just sit around there, and they start coming in that Friday. They have Jam Fest that Saturday, Sunday, Monday. As long as people stay there, they just keep playing and keep singing. So it's a lot of it would depend on the weather, but it's really been successful. People really enjoy it, and it's good entertainment. We're asking the court to waive the daily fee from that Friday to the next Friday. And, of course, the hookups, electrical hookups and water, they will be charged for that. But that way it gets everybody in there that wants to go out there and listen and set around the camps they have set up, and I'll make that into a motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Fields and a second by Commissioner Hockaday. All in favor of waiving those fees, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there's none. Thank you. Item number 8, consider and possibly approve a trade of property previously conveyed to Titus County as trustee. This was a piece of struck-off property located in the Swano subdivision in the Cason area. Let me see if I can simplify this explanation, and I'll provide you with, we have a situation there in this, there is a long string of lots here, and apparently a church built on a piece of property that they weren't really supposed to. They made a mistake and built in the wrong place. And Tim Taylor brought this to our attention, and they have said that they will give us, if they can have that one lot where they have put that church, they will give us 2 lots that they own. And I've looked at this and gone over this with Tim Taylor. It appears to be a good deal for us. There certainly is no negative to us in making this trade to accommodate this church so that they can have clear title to the church building that they've got. They'll end up, we'll actually end up with a better piece here at the end than we started with. And again, this was property that we couldn't even meet a minimum bid at previously. So I would ask that you would allow us to accept 2 lots for 1 and make this trade to clear this matter up.
I make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and a second by Commissioner Fields to approve this land swap that Tim Taylor has brought to us. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 9, consider and possibly approve a contract with CAPS Insurance to serve as insurance consultant for the fiscal year 2013 and 14. And we have a group here from CAPS, and Steve, whoever you would like to have represent you would be fine. I want to express my appreciation to you and Tony and your staff and Chris Kaplinger, who has helped us through a transitional year with our insurance, and it has not been without a few bumps, but honestly, there's been a lot fewer and a lot smaller bumps than I anticipated. I believe we have, for wherever we want to give the credit, we've saved a good deal of money. I'm grateful that our employees have been healthier this year, but I've also seen some significant savings that were a result of the insurance contracts that you put in place for us, and I appreciate the guidance and leadership you've given us over several workshops in the last year. And we're having another opportunity where you're bringing in all your top folks that know how to answer these questions, and we're giving an opportunity for anybody that works in this county representing themselves or their spouse or their child to bring their papers, bring their denials, bring their complaints, bring their questions, their concerns, whatever it may be, and you will be there in person sitting at the table to answer those questions. And we're giving 2 different time slot opportunities. One will be at the commission, at the sheriff's office, and one will be here. That was this afternoon. How did that go?
I believe we had 2 people.
2 people showed up.
So they were there from 2:30 till, 5:45 or so, something like that. So,
Did you learn anything new at those meetings?
Really, I think their primary concern is about the drugs, not understanding what is a formulary and what's not a formulary, and we try to help them through that. And there are some things that we think we do want to suggest possibly for the next year. Example, step therapy. So if somebody has tried a generic drug and can't take it, can't tolerate it, maybe you can take that brand name drug for a less cost than it would normally be. Step therapy is normally in a contract. We copied your Health First contract. They did not have step therapy in it, so in turn, this is...
Therefore, we didn't have it. Okay.
So that was one of the biggest questions. The other thing is to maybe think about possibly considering doing a 2 or 2.5 times copay for a 3-month supply. That was really our two biggest questions. People didn't understand how much the drugs were and who came up with the formulary.
Thank you.
Explained it, it's on us.
The second of those two meetings is tomorrow,
In the morning from 8 to 12.
and that will be right here in the courtroom. Okay.
You do not have to have appointments, come see us.
Take a number.
You know, we certainly want to be proactive in making sure all the county employees understand their plan. I mean, there has been a little bit of confusion in the transition, and we understand that. I mean, we're insurance folks, and we don't always understand everything that's going on. So we want to make sure that we're answering questions certainly in a respectful manner, and you know, try to work through all those situations. So, and that has definitely, you know, that has definitely settled down, and I think it's, you know, just had two people show up this afternoon at the sheriff's office, which is where we were, you know, we were getting several calls from that department, and so that, I think it's settled down significantly.
And the reason we have more is because they actually might go around and they say, hey, they're here, if you've got a problem. They've already said, like, you know, we're taking care of it. So that's why you have more, because they said you'd already.
Yeah. And we certainly want everybody to know that we're available at any time to handle those at our office. So, but anyway, I'm certainly glad today that I'm asking for an increase in my consulting fee. It's kind of hard to believe it's been a year since we were here and got that approval last year. So you know, your option, of course, in your contract is just to continue on at current rates, $12 per employee per month, same as last year. Hopefully, we will have a renewal for you this coming month, and we are anticipating that it will be a good renewal. Okay? So don't think we have anything but good news to talk about at renewal time. So anyway, any questions from anybody? I would like to say that, you know, probably, you know, once we get that renewal, we will look at that and then probably visit with the judge and determine at that point whether or not, you know, if we want to, you know, put it out for bids again or to continue on. Certainly it would be our goal to not make another transition if the numbers are where they need to be, and we feel like we will be. So, but we'll make that call, or we'll make a suggestion, and you certainly we'll comply with whatever you want us to do. Okay.
And that would be for coverage that begins first of the year?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
We're on a calendar year there.
That's correct. Renews
Okay.
January 1.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, commissioners, department heads? Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you coming up here, and thank you for making those two meetings available for us, Tony. All right, I'll consider a motion here to act upon this contract. That
Make a motion to approve contract, Caps Insurance.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to renew this contract with Caps Insurance to serve as our insurance consultant for this upcoming year. Second by Commissioner Fields. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there are none. Thank you. Item number 10, consider and possibly approve payment of a pauper's funeral for Sally Stevens in the amount of $950. Commissioner Fields, do you have any details on this one? Do you know anything about this one?
That's the only thing I know. I talked to Mr. Sloan at the funeral home, and he was telling me that they did not have anything, and I told them they needed to contact whoever they could contact to come up and do the paperwork. You were not here at that time, and they filled the paperwork out, and that's really all I know.
And who were they? It appears to be signed by an Eric Stevens, who must be, this is the son of Sally Stevens. So she has at least one family member here. Do we know the extent of any other family members? We don't normally, you know, well, we always will consider these, but I don't know what the extent of the family here is, and if there's any ability whatsoever, if there's just not, if it just would be a hardship on the family.
I just asked them to come up and fill the paperwork out, and that's what.
Okay, well, this application indicates zero money in any bank accounts. There is a home that is owned. There's no automobile. There's no insurance. There's no Social Security benefits. There are no other assets. So the answer to the question, is there a home? The answer is yes. This is not a military veteran. So that's all I know, fellas. I have not had a lot of requests like these. I ask them typically the same questions, and those that I have turned down have been ones that obviously had some assets, but just didn't seem to be interested in parting with them. I don't know about this particular situation other than what I read on this notarized form. So I will ask for your guidance on this one.
They have a home, they're not on top of it, are they?
Well, I don't know who owns the home here. The applicant may be the one that owns the home. Whether or not Sally Stevens owned the home or not, I don't know. Would be worth asking about.
To my knowledge, she was in a nursing home, so I don't know if some kind of nursing home facility, compensated for home. I think it is a key in Tom John. Heritage or something with Tom John as a key, a relative to her too.
Do you know how they're related? Do you know how they're related?
Her cousins.
Well, I don't like to see our funeral homes get stuck, but at the same time, I don't think that it's always the county's responsibility to pick up where family members choose not to, or where there may be other options. I simply don't know the details in this one. I'll be glad to ask some more questions if you like, or we can approve this or disapprove this now. Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we table this.
A second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton to table this matter until I can maybe get some more answers. All those in favor of tabling this matter, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, I'll check back on that. And we already posted Friday's agenda. I think we can get that slipped in on there. I'll put this on Friday's agenda and hope to get you some more answers so that perhaps we can vote on that this Friday morning. I'll give you that back as a reminder. Item number 11, consider and possibly approve amendments to the current contract with Title 4E Child Welfare Services for federal and state changes to the contract wording. This is a item 11 and 12, but it's time. We have been contacted, and it's time to approve the budget, but also due to some federal and state changes in the contract wording that had nothing to do with us. We simply need to approve the contract wording, which does not seem to have any monetary impact upon us. We're just simply being asked, as every other county is, to approve the changes that federal and state agencies have made in the wording of this contract that we have for child welfare services.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And item number 13, item number 12, consider and possibly approve fiscal year 2013-14 budget for Title 4E Child Welfare Services, and there are no changes to that budget over the prior year.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton and second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 13, consider and possibly approve travel and seminars. First one I have here is a request by Judy Cook to allow Gwen Dunn and Sue Smith, deputy clerks, to attend DMV updates and RTBs. What is an RTBs? Okay. This is going to be a one-day training down in Tyler. It's not mandatory, but it's necessary, according to Judy. September 24th will be that one day of training. It's no cost of registration. These two will travel together in personal car and cost us about $75 in mileage. No other costs being requested there. Second request is from Sheriff Ingram to allow Scott Wildy, Sergeant Investigator, to attend training in Winsboro, Texas on the 26th and 27th. $30 registration, $20 worth of per diem meals, and he will send him in a county vehicle, so the total request there is $50. Sheriff Ingram requests that Craig Brown, also Sergeant Investigator, be allowed to attend Basic Criminal Investigations course in Kilgore. That'll be a week of the 14th through the 18th of October. It's a $425 registration and $100 worth of per diem meals while that travel back and forth is going on during that week. No hotel involved, county vehicle being used, $525 total request there for Craig Brown to attend that course.
And Judge, on that one, call, we can code that one, take that out of the concert, training London, so actual cost county.
Okay.
Yeah, it's equals credit, we'll mark it, it's equals credit, so we can actually find that money and cost of the county.
Next request, also from Sheriff Ingram, to allow Sean Davis and Dorinda Orr to go to Frisco, Texas for intoxilizer operator training, which is mandatory for these two, to go October 28th through November the 1st. $700 registration for the two of them. $400 worth of per diem meals, looks like 5 times $40 for each of the two. Total cost of the hotel, $1,118. And that looks like 2 separate hotel rooms for Sean and Dorinda, which is appropriate. County vehicle will transport them, and $2,218. State training fund is the notation on here. Same situation here.
I believe so, it's equals credit, we can take it out of that. And that, if we don't do that in school here, we have nobody in now who can run consultation with the guys, so it's pretty important to get this done.
Okay.
DES on duty, we have nobody, so.
Okay. The next and final request is from County Clerk Diane Norris. Requests at this time simply the cost of registration, $200, to attend 119th Annual County and District Clerks Conference. That will not be until June, but in order to get a good rate, she wants to pay for the $200 registration at this time. And those are all of our travel and seminar requests.
Make a motion to approve travel.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Fields to approve those travel and seminar requests. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there's none. Item 14, approve oral and written reports.
Make a motion to approve the whole written report.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and a second by Commissioner Hinton. All those in favor of approval of these reports, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there are none. Item 15, consider and possibly approve the treasurer's report. Okay, and we don't have a treasurer's report because our treasurer is in the hospital, unfortunately. And I think she's on the road to a quick recovery, but may be out for a few more days, and unexpected complications came up in her procedure last week, but nothing life-threatening. She's doing well. Talked with her Friday. So we will, why don't we table that one? I'll make motion by Commissioner Fields, and I'll second that. All in favor of tabling our treasurer's report until a later time, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there's none. Item 16, approved budget amendments.
Judge, this is number 33 through 38. These are mainly just year-end reviewing the accounts. I don't think there's anything unusual.
No new money here.
Well, some of them involve spending more money, but I mean, the money's, it's not an unusual amount, it's just different than what we originally budgeted. I don't go in and change those every couple of weeks. I usually wait. I'll check them after 6 months, then I'll check them after 9 months, and then I'll check them at the end of the year.
Okay. This one's road materials. Phone cards. What is that? Phone
We
cards.
sell those to the inmates.
Okay. Park fund, trash pickup. Sales tax adjustment, copier expense adjustment, data processing, juvenile board adjustments, interest income. These all look like cleanup entries. Okay, if you'd like to look at any of these, I'll be glad to pass them your way. Okay.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hockaday and a second by Commissioner Hinton to approve these budget amendments. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And there's none. Item 17, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
A motion by Commissioner Hockaday and second by Commissioner Hinton to approve and pay our bills. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, item number 18, closing comments, and we'll get you out of here in time for the parade. We had a 10 o'clock meeting this morning, and at that meeting, we had Leonard Rockwell, Judy Cook, all the commissioners, myself, and Chris Basham, who serves as our guide and our architect as we discuss moving forward with our annex project. And what we were discussing was, what are we going to do with the relocation of some departments so that we can proceed with the remodel of our annex? And we currently own the Riddle Street building, and the original idea in that purchase was to move elections administration over to that Riddle Street building. We ran into some opposition there, and we tasked Chris Basham with finding a way where we could keep everybody on campus without using the Riddle Street building, and hopefully without building another building. And Chris brought us some drawings today, and Leonard Rockwell and Judy brought up some pros and cons in his discussions, but in the end, they both agreed that they could find a way, although it wasn't their first choice. They found a way to make it work where they could both reside in the Ratliff building with a remodel and a reconfiguration of that facility. We believe that we can get elections administration as well as auto registration and taxes in the Ratliff building and make it work and make it work well. That meant we had a building on Riddle Street that we didn't need currently. We didn't have an immediate need for or use for. And the court decided that rather than selling that building, there might be a day when we will need that building. We've got a low-cost basis in that building, and we have a current tenant in that building, Workforce Solutions. And Workforce Solutions would like to sign a long-term lease at a favorable monthly rate. And so the court decided that we will enter into negotiations with them to finalize a long-term lease, something along the lines of 5 to 10 years with Workforce Solutions, to allow them to stay there and to provide a nice income stream for us and allow us the ability to use that building if we had a need somewhere down the road. Very positive meeting. I appreciate Leonard and Judy and the way that they helped us work toward a solution today. So we will be moving forward with, I believe Friday, we will be talking about having an asbestos or an environmental study done in the vacant areas here across the street at the annex. Before we can begin any demolition, we want to be sure we're doing it right in accordance with all laws there. So we had a good 2-hour meeting this morning, and I feel like came out with a good money-saving alternative for the county. That's all I have. Commissioner Hockaday? Commissioner Hinton?
I have nothing, Judge.
Commissioner Fields?
No.
Commissioner Riddle? Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Hockaday, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Good night, everyone.